Hey guys, Ron here, and 2 weeks ago I released part 2 of the series in which I make the starter Pokemon for my own region. Prior to that, we made the basic stages, and then we made their evolutions. Now it's time to make the final evolutions. Their concepts will come full circle. Everything will be revealed and make sense, but only if you've seen the previous videos, so please make sure you're caught up with the development of these partner Pokemon. They started out as cute children who enjoy the company of humans, became angsty teenagers who are rebellious and not so trusting, and now they will become full-blown adults who see you as their best friend. Let's start with the Grass Elephant line. Elephant loves to plant seeds and is happy to help. Its evolved form, Mustrunk, is overconfident and plants everywhere, even creating obstacles for humans. With its rock typing, it's a master of minerals and can create more locations to plant and optimal soil for plants to grow in. It represents wild land and will stop butting heads with humans once it evolves. It will now be a wise and humble giant who believes that both sides will lose if it starts to have disputes with humans. It can create obstacles when it wants to defend its land, but will mostly choose to remove obstacles that threaten the lives of wild Pokemon and humans. Let's make this gentle giant. Now I'm starting with the proportions. It's basically a mountain with 3 peaks, the head, shoulder, and back. I want to keep the ears huge so it still looks like an African elephant even though it's proportionally a mammoth and conceptually an Asian elephant. It'll have a whole fruit on its forehead, perhaps a mango. It's intelligent, so it represents its third eye. Its tusks will be jagged since they're made of stone, and the tip of its trunk will be the shape of a hand, allowing it to grab things with its trunk. I want it to have a smile, but it's hard since a trunk and some tusks are obscuring its mouth. At this point it has a cluster of fruit on its forehead, but that won't stay. What will stay are those stone boots it has. Its hair is made of leaves, by the way, so I gave it some leaf chest hair, giving it mountain peaks. This is the gist, but let's overhaul the entire face and trunk. This is closer to what I want it to be, and we're not there yet though. I like having this slit around its eyes. At the moment its trunk fingers are leaves, but again, that's not a lasting concept. I gave it a crack on its right trunk to allude to Ganesha's chipped trunk. I finally decided to give it a rock fist on its trunk, and now the finishing touches. Colored it in so you have the idea of how its colors are going to be. But here's the final concept. Precifant, the mountain Pokemon, from precipice, the steep edge of a mountain or cliff, and elephant. I'll show you its stats once I finish reading its entry. Precifant is a rather intelligent being. It has the strength to defend all wildlife that relies on the fruit that grows on it. It uses its dexterous trunk to remove any obstacle, like fallen trees or boulders, but will use it as a means to attack when necessary. This Pokemon utilizes its power and size to intimidate both humans and Pokemon into getting along. It can create hills and mountains at will, which it uses to enforce boundaries between the territories of different Pokemon so conflicts rarely break out. They say that the many mountains that divide the region were made by Precifant to defend against invaders. In its spare time, it finds new seeds to plant on its back. Fruit that grows on Precifant grows extra faster and larger than on any soil on land. Its hidden ability is Harvest, very appropriate, and it's as defensive and physically powerful as you'd think. Its signature move is Overgrowth, a 90 base power physical move that causes the battlefield to become grassy terrain. I love this Pokemon. It's definitely the least controversial of the starters I made. Its growth from Elephant is natural, and while it's only partially based on Ganesha, especially since it's still an African elephant, I love how I integrated that god's whole remover of obstacles theme. I love gentle giants, and a lot of them seem to be grass starters. As I move on, keep in mind that starters are always the Pokemon with the most extreme fan opinions. People either get attached to them or hate how they can't get attached to them. One person can think Emboar is amazing, while another can think it's the worst starter ever. Maybe its fatness is a negative to one fan, while to the other it's the reason they love it. No opinion is objective. But god am I proud of this Pokemon, I love it so much. Let's move on to the fire line. Smokeaf is a timid yet confident calf. It's beloved by humans and almost worshipped by many. Agnite is spoiled and introverted. It's shy and prefers to be left alone, but still wants the approval of humans. When no one's looking, it will train with its mystical fire. It'll evolve into a confident and godlike fertility ox. It works closely with humans to help crops grow, even in the harshest environments. It'll be a friend to humanity. That's right guys, it's time to stand up. It was the right thing to do, but let's just say I don't get the pose right until much later. The hair between its horns is constantly on fire, giving energy to the crops it tends to. Its Egyptian eyeliner isn't emo anymore, it's godlike now. The original concept was serious, but this is a benevolent god, so it's friendly and happy. I experimented with making it a bit more cocky and arrogant, with its head held up high, but scrapped that. I want it to be likable after all. The gold accents on Ignite become golden cuffs and eventually ankle bracelets. I gave its shoulder some accents too. This Pokemon is flamboyant and bright, it's as confident as can be. Now I'm redoing the pose for the first time to make it look more dynamic. It's energetic and a bit egotistical, but all in good fun. I wanted to look tribal or ancient, something with mystical and natural power. While intelligent and more of a special attacker, it is a jock. Now it's more free-flowing and in the middle of an action pose. While it's bipedal, it can still move perfectly on all 4 legs. Finally gave its knees some padding and buffed out all the minor flaws. Colored it in, so you get the deal. I purposely wanted this line to get more saturated, brighter, and whiter as it evolved. And here it is, Oxinerate, the sacred Pokemon, from Ox, Incinerate, and Venerated. It's greatly respected. It's finally a fairy type. Oxinerate has brought the citizens of this region bountiful harvests for centuries. It is said that it is the reason crops can grow in the many unfortunate environments that this region exhibits. This Pokemon can summon powerful solar energy from the fire on its head in order to bathe crops with enough sunlight during dry and cold seasons. The most loyal and dutiful Oxinerates will stay by crops all night. Farmers always greet these Pokemon with gifts and food. Those in the party of a Pokemon trainer use their energy to fight for honor. They love the limelight and take great joy in doing a good job in any sort of field. This happy aura increases their power, so trainers from around the region know to make sure this Pokemon is always in a good mood. Its hidden ability is Drought, and its signature move is Starfall, a 90 base power special move that creates misty terrain by using its mystical powers to summon solar energy from the sky. This Pokemon is mostly based on Hathor from Egypt, but also the sacred cows of India. It's about this time I reveal the inspiration for my region. It isn't India. As much as I want an India region, it's not a personal location to me. Since New York is already taken, my region is based on the Middle East. And what's cool about it is how my starters represent the border or boundaries of my region. Both my grass and fire starters represent Africa and South Asia, while my water type represents the Mediterranean and Europe. After all, the Middle East is the crossroads of all 3 continents. It is the location in which civilization started and many different empires thrived in. But don't worry, my region won't have commentary on any current politics or wars. Speaking of which, water time. Dolflo is an energetic, mischievous, and trusting little dolphin. Is intelligent but naive. Mentidal is super smart and can control water with psychic powers. It knows about humanity's negative treatment of the ocean and its own species, so it's less trusting, but still harmless to humans. Its final evolution will be a monster dolphin that is fed up with humans and fights for the sake of the ocean and its species. It can shoot psychic lasers mixed with high-pressure water. And don't forget, it can walk on land using its psychic powers. I mean, its face is pretty much a dolphin's face, but with a sharp beak so it looks more dangerous. Its water psychic energy fin goes around its entire back, and its orca-like eye pattern will have a scar-like pattern, not an actual scar, but reminiscent of one. But its flippers will be on its temple, as if it were about to shoot out a beam from its forehead. I gave it some sharp teeth, but I'll abandon them in the final design. It will have psychedelic wave-like patterns on its body with an X on its chest. Again, X-like marks are very common on large sea creatures in Japanese media, as if they were hunted or through many battles. Sharpedo even has one. The tail was the hardest thing to design. I wanted it to originally float in its artwork, but in the end, it'll be standing on its tail. The concept is that it's able to stay completely upright using its psychic abilities. The psychic water fins wrap around its groin area. Here are its groovy colors. The point is that it gets way more colorful as it evolves. It has celestial powers, so the bubbles in its water fins look like stars in space. Don't worry, its final artwork is less saturated and more balanced. Here it is, the psychic wave Pokemon, Bellamar, from Cerebellum, a part of the brain, Bellum, which means war, Illuminate, marine, Mar, which is Spanish for sea, and Sonar. I love how I was able to fit that many origins in one name. You could even say Bella, which means beautiful, is there since its body showcases beautiful patterns and lights. Bellamar is very aggressive, but only fights those it believes are harming its environment and fellow water Pokemon. It creates a bubble fin to constantly stay hydrated on land, and uses its psychic powers to carry itself through any terrain. It can shoot pressurized water mixed with psychic energy so they never miss. The most powerful are able to even read minds, allowing them to know if others are friend or foe. They will use their sonar to coordinate attacks. However, they have never abandoned their heroic hearts and will save innocent souls. They are known to analyze their battlefield to calculate the least amount of collateral damage. Those who have become friends with trainers have revived their faith in humans and will help their environment using more peaceful methods. In ancient times, it was thought that Bellamar were sent to impose the wills of water gods. Their hidden ability is analytic, giving them the edge over faster targets and trainers who think they're clever for switching in super effective mons when Bellamar is on the field. Their signature move is Mindstorm, a 90 base power move that summons psychic terrain, which is pretty clever because, mind and storm, psychic and water, since its water attacks are mixed with its psychic energy. In fact, here is a neat animation I made of how this Pokemon looks when it's shooting beams of water or psychic energy. This laser is the mandatory weapon all water type starters seem to have, according to fans. I love this one too. To me, this starter looks the most like a real Pokemon. I'm a huge fan of its psychedelic patterns. In my region, the Pokemon are more intelligent than those in other regions. For that reason, they're feared a bit more. And each settlement in my region has different ways that they utilize the ingenuity of their Pokemon, different cultures and history. Your ability to train these godlike, powerful and intelligent starter Pokemon will be the indication of how you will be able to solve the conflicts of this relatively divided region. And yes, this is the region in which Team Ozone will be up to no good. The region of Ason, which means tragedy in Hebrew, because through hardship, this region will become as one. Just give me more time to polish the locations and story of this region and time to create its Pokemon. After all, I kinda made it when I was a child and need to update it a bit more from the ground up. Like this video if you enjoyed, and make sure to check out the previous two. Subscribe and press the bell for more videos like these, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram to see full art of these Pokemon. Check the description for all the music I used, the t-shirts I made for you guys, and my Patreon to get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early. Press the join button for the same rewards and even more. I'll see you guys very soon.